So looking at environmental influences. So environmental costs of business activity. Sometimes businesses are not kind on the environment because they can cause pollution, climate change, congestion, particularly around their manufacturing sites or even retail sites, and the use of finite resources. So these are resources that can't be replenished. So your gas, coal, oil, resources. And another definition that's really good to know is sustainability. So methods of production that can be continued in the long term without damage to the environment or depletion of natural resources. So here it's actually easier if I illustrate using some examples how businesses can be environmental and act in a sustainable manner. So renewable energy would be a big one. So wind turbines, solar energy, biodegradable packaging. This is packaging that will break down and will return to organic material at some point. Can take many years to do that. Recycling schemes, so making the products in a plastic or a glass that can be recycled and can be easily recycled as well with household waste, alongside household waste. Fair trade, so we've looked at this with the ethical video. Fair trade can also be environmentally sustainable because to sign up to the fair trade scheme, the producers, if they're crop growers, if they're farmers, they'll sign up to producing their crops, raw materials in a sustainable manner that will be more environmentally friendly farming, so not the use of pesticides that are really damaging to the environment. Water efficiency, so this could be a building, maybe like an office building that collects wastewater when it's raining from their roofs and uses it not for drinking water but for things like the water in the toilets and stuff, and that kind of water recycling. And minimising waste as well, reducing the use of finite resources. So advantages and disadvantages of being environmentally friendly. So again, increased consumer traction and maybe customers willing to pay a high price. Employees might be quite proud to work for an organisation that's environmentally sustainable, so they might increase motivation and greater productivity, lower absenteeism, maybe less labour turnover, and you get reduced wastage as well. So with the less wastage, if you're using all your resources more efficiently, should reduce your costs. However, you might end up paying higher costs due to having biodegradable packaging, because they might be more expensive to have that packaging rather than stuff that's not going to biodegrade. Possibly you might have to put that cost through to the price, so it might be an increased price for consumers, but they might be willing to pay a little bit extra for that. So if we look at some examples, we've got Lush, again, cosmetics brand, explain how a business can act in a sustainable way, just for 2 marks, and here are some examples. So methods of production. What the mark scheme has done here is defined what sustainable means. So methods of production that can continue in the long term without damaging the environment. And a business could act in a sustainable way by reducing its packaging on products, increasing the amount of materials it recycles, introducing energy saving schemes, etc. So there's 3 different examples there. You wouldn't need all of them, but some nice little example there. And then a longer question, analyse the impact on Lush and its customers when implementing environmentally friendly policies. So here's an example. I've got some examples of some paragraphs from the mark scheme. So it can mean more customers for Lush, growing awareness of the impact that our actions have on the environment has led to more and more people supporting sustainable companies. This could be a good marketing tool, may increase their sales. I would go on there and talk about how they could maybe charge a high price. They're not the cheapest in the market, I know that. And then this is only an excerpt from the mark scheme, it's not the whole thing, but then because it is just impact, so it could be positive, it could be negative. A negative point for the company such as Lush is implementing these policies are the costs involved. They talk in the case study about supplying the little black pots and recyclable materials, can be more expensive, this can lower profit margins. Compared to and they might find it hard to compete with other companies that aren't as environmentally friendly. They can't compete as effectively on price. Just watch out for those types of questions, because it's very common for students to just focus on the business and miss out that customer. Those 2 examples I've given you there are just the impact on the business, but the mark scheme did have some paragraphs on the examples, the impact on customers as well. So make sure you fully read that question really carefully.